you're going to suffer. The question that the Christian has is, what's so good about suffering? I tried to tell y'all last week that to live for Christ, to die is gain. My suffering will be worth it in the end. We have too many Christians that want a right now God for their right now situation. And I have studied the scriptures long enough to suggest that if God gave you what you wanted when you asked for it, you'll never learn from nothing that you had to go through. Because what happened is you'll start treating God in a different way. See, when you have to wait on God, that takes faith. Even when you're crying, you're still waiting. Even when you're singing, you're still waiting. Even when you're preaching, you're still waiting. Then waiting on God is an issue of faith. God says, and even though you have to wait, it'll be worth it in the end. See, people are trying to tell you to discredit God because you're suffering right now. If you say that you are a Christian, your response should be, I might be suffering right now, but when Jesus comes back, I won't have to suffer no more. That the sufferings of this world, they will be over. That's what Paul was saying. He said, you can lock me up. You can try to kill me. I can be shipwrecked. You can try to throw me out. But the reason why I still do it is because I might suffer down here. But when I get to where he is, it'll all be worth it. Unfortunately, we are waiting for people to tell us, well done, about coming through our situation when their opinion doesn't even matter. Some people will live their whole life based off what somebody else had to say about them. And they will miss heaven worried about other folk. If you say that you are a Christian, you ought to show some control. You ought to show contact. You ought to prove that you have to bear a cross, but also there will be conflict. It says having the same conflict, which he saw in me, now here to be in me. Paul says, the same conflict I had, you're going to have it too. Folks hating you, you're going to have that. Folks mistreating you, you're going to have that. Folks disowning you, you're going to have that too. But children of God, we got to be more like Paul. Paul writes this prison letter. He is locked up in prison, trying to tell those on the outside, don't worry about what I'm going through. I still suffer for the cause of Christ.